All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. I got news for you, pal. You ain't leading but two things right now. Jack and shit. Jack left town. Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
What was that ruckus? What ruckus? I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Describe the ruckus, sir.
Does this mean we're not friends anymore? I'm in my prime.
You're mine. Ain't it cool?
First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow. Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
What up, everyone? DJ Nubis.
And DJ Neko.
Here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast. Another concert review, merch haul, and some unboxings to do today. But first thing we're going to get to, of course, is the concert that we went to on Saturday, which Neko had found earlier in the week. Had been a long time, but she's like, guess who's coming to Selbyville, which is only like 20 minutes from us.
And Selbyville is
quiet. It's a quiet
it's
town.
yeah, it's like 3,000 people.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of people in Selbyville. There's a lot of, it's just outside the resort beach area, and a lot of retirees live there, so that literally it only takes 10 minutes to drive to the beach. If you want to go to the beach, there's golf courses, so my mom and dad, they retired there, and there's a pavilion called the Freeman Arts Stage that gets all kinds of acts. Random acts. Like, they had a juggler there earlier in the day. It was probably for kids, but I was just scrolling on Facebook and it said 311. I was like, is this real 311?
That's why I asked, I was like, this is a tribute band or is this the 311? Like, because you have to understand, like, neither one of us has seen this band since 1999 when they did the HFS festival, and this is back in Landover, Maryland. So,
and this was a football stadium.
Yeah.
Huge.
So this is at the height, of course, of the alternative rock. You know, like Method Man was there, Everclear.
I'm trying to think who else.
Chemical
was there.
Brothers.
Yeah, Chemical Brothers. It started raining.
Run
DMC. It started raining.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit was headlining at that year. So like, you just had a lot of different all time. And then they had like the side stage out there. The Dubstep All Stars were out there,
which are the remaining members of Sublime. That was like a big draw for me because Sublime, absolute favorite band at the time.
Her and I didn't even know each other at this point. We had not yet met, so I think we met a couple years later.
We met in 2002.
So it's been a while. But either way, we were both there because we both remember that festival quite clearly.
And I always like to joke because I think there was a Korn concert that you and I both went to as well. And I'm like, maybe at one of these shows, like, I was in line with my fake ID getting a beer and you were in line with your real ID getting a beer, and our paths crossed and it was like cosmic. And then we meet a couple years later, and it's kind of interesting because music was a big bond for us when we got, it still is, but I mean, it was a really big bond for us when we first got together because he loves music so much that he just kept making me mix CDs to listen to. Oh, I got this band you're gonna love, or you said you like Judas Priest. Well, have you heard these songs? And we bonded early on. So 311, I did not realize was one of his favorite alternative bands. And I obviously have always been a fan of alternative rock, and 311, obviously. I would have gone to the HF Festival back in 1999. And when I saw it, I just said, all right, I'm going to ask if he wants to go. And it was so last minute. It was
because I mean, it wasn't like a lot of promotion for it. Like, I don't know how she even came across it.
Facebook.
But
you know what my algorithm is.
But I discovered them in 1995 when they released a Blue record, and so this was basically their album that kind of catapulted them. They had Down, had All Mixed Up on there, Larger Than Margin. So like, remember, I was at Tower Records when they still existed, and so like they had the listening station, and so I saw.
Oh, those were fun.
I saw the album, and I was like, well, let me check this out. And opening is Down. It's like that nice riff, and it's like, oh, this is so good. But it wasn't until 97's Transistor where I just fell in love with that record.
Transistor is
it's
amazing.
An amazing record. Such a growth from even the previous albums they had. And they just kept kind of capitalizing on that, and then they kind of fizzled out. But they've been still putting out records. In fact, I just went back and ordered some of their back catalog because I got most of their stuff from the 90s, but I had to go back and get their new one, which came out last year, which we heard a track or two from that, which was really nice. But
they stayed true to their selves, and they stayed true to their sound, which I love because.
And they sounded amazing. These guys are up there in age like we are, so it's like they've been around for a while.
And they looked amazing.
Yeah, the singer, he makes me look like slob.
Dude.
Blob.
Dude.
He is cut. He has like a 10-pack. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Shirt off at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what a beautiful night. It was crystal clear. It was a little hot while we were waiting in line to get.
It's a vastly different experience in India.
we were vibing too. So this place, depending on who, so ZZ Top is coming in Foreigner, and I'm gonna try and look around like the local Facebook groups and stuff to see if I can find us Foreigner tickets, because somebody is always like, I can't go. ZZ Top still has tickets available, which we're thinking about because it's in the fall.
Yeah, I would love to see them. I've just never seen ZZ, but I've listened to some of their. I watched a doc on them, and some of their back catalog is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know all of like the hits from the 80s, but they have a lot of stuff from previous records that are just flat out great. So I'd love to see them.
So like for ZZ Top and Foreigner and some other shows, they actually have reserved seating where they actually have seats set up and all. But
that's the other thing too. Like this venue, you can bring your own chair.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you
like,
pick where you want to
sit. It's like a lawn, and you just we went and spent a little bit of money to get these chairs. I got a really nice
comfy chairs.
But you're not in the grass, and it's like you don't
have to stand. I mean, there's a standing area.
I mean, we had some later that were kind of messing around, but nothing major.
The
food's good, bit expensive, but good.
It was a chill vibe, like
very
no stinky patchouli people, which surprised me because 311 and the two opening bands are very California hippie peace, like. But I also have to think of the area where we are is a lot of retirees, and it showed there were like parents bringing their kids. There were grandparents.
Such a diverse group of people, which was really nice. Like a lot of younger generation people into the music,
wearing the 311 shirts and stuff. And I'm like,
and that's the thing I was really happy about too. I told her, I said, I'm really excited because usually when bands aren't as popular as they once were, like in the 90s or even the 80s bands, like they don't draw as many crowds. Unless you're doing Motley Crue and you're like doing stadiums. But this was like, I totally expected like a much less crowd, but it was packed. It was really packed. I'm happy for them because that means they're still selling a lot of good merch, which is not cheap. But, again, the quality of the concert itself was like flat out amazing. I could not believe, and all three bands were good. All three bands were good.
I mean, I joked with him because like the MDF sound guy, during a couple of bands was a little, there's buildings all around where we are in MDF. So like it echoes and they don't take those things into consideration and it's not right. The sound was crystal clear, perfect. We were not right on top of the speaker, but we were like nice middle, perfect view if we wanted to stand or sit.
Mhm.
People were dancing. They had a guy on a scissor lift, and I'm sure, does people know it? Like it goes,
It's like a crane. Almost.
yeah, like, but it's a scissor lift and it's flat. It has like recording the whole thing. So then there's two giant screens, god damn,
Yeah, on the side.
on each
Kind of like
side.
if you ever went to Ozfest or anything like that, you would see that.
So imagine like taking the like lawn seats of an Ozfest or something like that, and that's about the crowd that you got. We're not talking about, HF Festival would draw as much crowd as a football game, like 50,000 people. So we're not talking 50,000 people, but we're talking a good, 2,000 people in this small pavilion. Yeah. It's not even a pavilion. They haven't built the pavilion yet.
And they're really smart about how they designed it. I mean, they're apparently moving the stadium to the side because they're going to put a permanent stadium there. But the way they position things, like the food trucks were at one point by the merch, and then
there's a beer garden.
You had these like satellite beer garden type things. And then, the other thing on the other side, the cantina, like that's a whole other thing that you can walk to. It's not very far, and then get food from there if you wanted to.
And then picnic tables and an acoustic band playing.
Yeah, it's like some like local people just kind of playing their own stuff.
So for an hour before the opening band starts, you can get food, you can have drinks, because we were like, they
had this awesome pretzel with cheese and crab on top. It was so good.
Everything was just, and again, we are in an area where it's kind of like affluent retired people, and it's a concert. So I was drinking these. I was a little hungover the next day. I didn't realize how potent these peach vodka drinks were. But yes, I could have probably bought a whole 6-pack for the amount I paid for one. But we're talking about dude, it was a vibe. Like, I kept saying that. I was like, God, I sound like such a hippie or whatever, but it was fun and relaxing. And when 311 first, you know what? Let's not get into 311. Let's
start from the
let's
first
start
one. So they had a couple opening bands that were actually pretty good. I didn't know anything about them. The first one, of course, is a trio.
Saturn.
From California as well. They got a website. You just sitting on Saturn.com. You can find their stuff there and their music.
Also, got the California vibe.
Now, obviously, the backdrop is for BAPA, which is the middle band, but this was like the setup previous to before Sitting on Saturn came. But I do have a clip of them playing. And one thing is that they're very, they're a trio, so they kind of remind me a little bit of Blink 182 or some other band that had like that, but they're very like Green Day, almost energetic, not so much punk, but just very surfy.
Very surfy. I told you it reminded me of Sublime when they did songs without horns. So if you like Sublime without the horns, but still like the upbeat Sublime stuff, totally.
Not sleeping or even tired. Just don't wanna be away. No, just don't wanna be away.
And I was doing this. I was vibing. A little bit of Everclear in there too, that surf rock California alternative. And I also need to point out that
but they did have even some more energetic songs, so that was kind of like one of the more scaled back ones. So they had some stuff that was pretty rocking.
So to the right and a little bit behind us, where the beer, it's a pond and a golf course. Like it's just it was beautiful. Like everything around was beautiful. And I remember it was funny. We were standing in line for merch, and well, I'll save that for the merch story because it was funny. So remind me, say your merch story, and I'll be like,
So
okay.
then, yeah, we got to the next band. Apparently, they have a little bit more footing, a little bit more polished.
Oh, can I say one more thing about sitting on Saturn? So like I really obviously they gave me the total 1990s Missy feel. I had to get a shirt, and it's a ringer tee, and I love ringer tees and I love baseball tees. So I was like, game on. They immediately were like, follow us on Instagram. And I'm like, okay. And I followed them on Instagram, and then they were posting stuff about the show. And I was like, you guys were great. And then they gave me like a thumbs up. I was like, ah. So they're very interactive. They're just,
they took pictures at the end. I didn't catch until we were pretty much out the gates, but they were
at the merch table, and they were mingling, and they were watching the other bands. And I dig them. And they said, like, I think they've been around since 2015, and they were like, this is kind of like a big break for us to open for such a big band, and they really appreciated 311 for
they have a
them.
great presence on the stage. They have a lot of energy. They're a lot of fun. And there were still a lot of people that were checking them out. Like by the time 311 got, the whole place was packed, but they still had a nice group of people.
And you saw that in the front, that the standing area, like packed already for them. So good for them. I really like them, clearly. And I mean, how can you not like a cute shirt with French fry surfing?
But Bad Flower was the next band, and they were a 4-piece from Cali as well. At first, when they first started playing,
they're a little emo-y.
Well, I wasn't so much that. It's just I wasn't really feeling it. But then as they progressed through some of the other songs, I started to get a little bit more and more into it. They certainly are talented. The singer is funny at times. Like he was basically melting on the stage. He's like, I can't see anybody. Like, look at over there. Can you guys look at it? Because I can't see anybody.
The sun is in my face. Yeah. And then he was talking about, he's like, my voice is squeaky because I had a procedure.
Yeah. He was telling about a story about he got a procedure, Botox in his throat to fix something, but it fucked it up instead.
So he's like, I'm squeaky. I apologize.
But it sounded pretty good.
I think he sounded beautiful. Yeah.
So here's a little bit of Bad Flower.
I think the squeaky voice adds to the emo of his style.
I was getting ready to say this song kind of reminds me of Creep.
We're talking about Radiohead in this. Oh, look, that guy's got a Weezer shirt.
Yeah.
What shirt did you wear?
Morty is not going to.
Yeah. We saw some like Marilyn Manson shirts, and there's my guy right there with the Hawaiian shirt. I wore it was like a flowery, like hippie type shirt. I was like, this is perfect for this. And you see the kids down there too, like everybody, like all ages.
So there they are.
I liked them too. I was appreciative that we got two bands that we've never heard of, and they both turned out to be incredibly
consistent
talented.
Because sometimes when you watch concerts, even if it's just 3 bands or 12, it's like you kind of want them to have a similar vibe, because some people obviously, like I remember when Clash of Titans in '90 went out there, and you had Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer,
and then Alice in Chains
is opening, and it's like, for me, it wasn't a big deal because I was already kind of into AIC at that point. So, but other people, like, they just did not respond well to this band. But that's the funny thing, is the other bands on the bill loved them, and that's why they brought them along. But that's the kind of thing that can backfire sometimes, because if they're not really the same setting, it'd be like trying to take a band like Sitting on Saturn and putting them with Cannibal Corpse. It's just not going to go over well.
Oh, no.
So, you have to be kind of careful with your lineups, but I do appreciate that bands take risks. It's just, you have to pick and choose. But I love how 311 said to themselves, each one of these bands kind of represents the era that we're known for.
Yeah, and they're like, we're Cali surf alternative rock, but with each have our own take on it, right?
Yeah.
I really I was happy that night. I was, it was, Saturdays are usually kind of like our little thing, you know. I work during the week and he usually like checks in on my mom or runs a bunch of errands. So during the week, and it's surprising we're even doing this tonight because I didn't get home until 6:30, but like during the week we get like some I love you, let's veg out, good night, and I'm in bed and whatever. So when we do something together on Saturdays, we try to like have some quality time.
But yeah, you can find their stuff at badfoddermusic.com. I'll have the links in the description when we're done. But yeah,
The
you can
bangs
check
are all
them out.
fucked up already.
So then that brings us to 311. And
Mhm.
again, I really like the stage setup because they have the backdrop with the video work going on that's, you know, showcasing the colors and the trippiness of some of their music.
Yeah, behind them they had that like
Yeah, so you can just see some of like this has like the little alien head that we're known for with some of their album covers and stuff. And then you got, of course, another one there. Now, one of the favorite points that I had before I get to actually a couple of the videos is, and I was telling Neko this that night. I said, this is what I kind of miss is when you watch a smaller set of bands, that the main band's able to do more. So when we saw them at HFS, they maybe had 30 minutes to 45 minutes to play. They got to play for a good hour and a half with us. And so with that comes the idea that they could kind of showcase their members. So we got to see Peanut do some bass work and then the drummer do like a drum solo, which I was trying to get video, but every time it happened, it would cut away from this part. So you can see the background with the colors of the video behind them. Which was very spacey and whatnot, and it just was so beautiful.
It's a trippy, like, look at that drum set.
Yeah, and I mean, it was gorgeous. Like, he was having a ball up there. And of course, again, the videos that they had, the video angles, very cool. He must have played for a good 5 or so minutes of the drum solo. Like, he was really going off.
I think for me, the funniest thing was again, I haven't seen 311. I am not a diehard, so I haven't followed them, and I haven't seen a lot of recent pictures. The first song comes out, and there's a guy out there, and he's like with the tambourine, and he is like going to town. I was like, oh look, 311 has their own tambourinist, and he's like, that's the other singer. I'm like,
well, yeah, because he looks way different than I remember them from way back in the day. So then they were much younger, you know, back then. So, you know, age, except for the singer, the lead singer looks like the same almost.
The lead
like,
singer aged like a
he's like a vampire. Yeah, just.
Do you have a picture of him without a shirt?
No.
Damn.
You had your camera.
I didn't take any. I was just ogling him or oogling him.
Your opportunity.
Oh, so they open up and we're already excited, right? Like, we're just super happy. More people still funneling in. Like, we came early. I was like, okay, gates are at 5. And also, this Freeman stage is also inside of a community where, like, again, there's a golf course, there's a post office, there's stores, there's restaurants, there's homes. So I said to him, I was like, let's get there early because the parking is limited. And if you don't get there before a certain time, you have to park in the satellite area and then take a shuttle over. So we get there early, but there's still people rolling in, and I don't know where these people parked because there aren't enough parking spots for all these people rolling in for 311. Like, it was just, and as you saw, like in those videos, we're in lawn chairs, which is perfectly fine. It was comfortable. We had a great time, but people are.
I mean, look how young.
I know. Oh my God.
So literally, the guy on the left is the one that was doing the tambourine. Mm-hmm. He's the one that does the other vocals. So like,
he's like I want to say that he's not a rapper, but he does like the kind of like.
But he does more of the rappy stuff, like that's in the band.
It's more like the reggae ska rap kind.
So, but that's the funny thing. Like, you know, when he came out, I was like, wow, he's old. But let me tell you, people, if you get a chance to
I'm
see
not
this
saying he's
band,
old. He just shaved his head. That's all. And he,
no,
yeah.
grayed out. It's got a little bit of weight there, you know, like Daddy-O.
I mean,
But the reality is, they all sounded great. Like you
and
you
aren't
see
they all original together still? Yeah.
And the thing is, like, some bands when they age, they can't do the things they did 20 years prior. But these guys are on their game. Like, they still stay healthy. They're doing great. I don't know, like, if they've had health issues. Like, I've not kept up with them over the years, but they were just great. They sounded amazing. Like, they weren't faking it, and it just was
They were
so
out there
impressive.
to perform,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. Like, I don't know if they knew what the Freeman Pavilion / stage was when they booked it. One fun thing about sitting on Saturn, they were I'm guessing the tour came through New Jersey.
Mhm.
So for us on the eastern shore of Delaware, there's a ferry that goes from Cape May, New Jersey to Lewis, Delaware. And they were like, you know, sharing a reel of them on the ferry from Cape May to Lewis before they went down to Selbyville. It is so unreal. Like,
Well, they like you said earlier, you know, they were invited to do this tour, which is the biggest thing they've done so far. So they're probably having the time of their life. And we talked about it some time ago when it came to bands like L7 or Kitty or all those in the 90s, because like with Val Kilmer, he was videotaping early in his life.
He recorded everything.
So when L7 did their doc, they had all this VHS footage, like these heavy ass cameras back then. And that's impressive. So, like, the fact that these guys, you know, obviously now technology is smaller,
you
it's
got it in
easier
your
to work with.
pocket. You can just
So they're documenting their experiences, which is great for them. Like, that's the way you should do it. Like, that's how you keep the memories there, and then come back later and say, yeah, this is a long time ago, but man, we were guests on 311's tour for the first time, and it was so much fun. So I was really happy for all of them. But got a couple of videos of 311 playing. I didn't get my last one. I don't know why. I must have not hit record, because that was what I was waiting for. But here's first the video of 311.
Oh, is this the first song? You're just getting some excellent tambourine work. FYI. Wearing little sleeves up there. A little hot. Whoa.
Even a long sleeve like that
It went long sleeve,
like
the
that.
tank top.
Delaware, are you ready?
Delaware.
I know.
Delaware.
Haven't heard yet, but you can rap now. Win that, talk.
Look at that tambourine.
Heard a certain word to the fact of a can. Sipping on a flask. Passing it on the chipper only if you're ass. From the beat, you could rumble me, but in the end, the band same thing to the defendant. I can't kick it in the spot. If let me better end it there, cause I'm a survivor on my way. I'm a pick back about it. You're trying to find a weaker, but the sheep is getting hard. The 4th of July, the Lucy is sky. I remember fine dream and a girl.
And they still have the harmonies together,
Yeah.
and they both it was so good. Like, I never would think, you know, 20 some years ago that I'd be revisiting 311 in my 40s.
I thought they kind of just fizzled out and departed, but you know, I mean, I knew they had put some other records that I had kind of came across, like probably about 15 or 20 years ago, but up until recently, I didn't think they were still around. So when you mentioned they were playing, I was like, is this like a reunion tour? They still been doing this, but they've been putting out, like I said, last year they put out a new record, which I ordered. It's called In Bloom. So, or Full Bloom. I can't remember the exact title, but I'm interested in hearing it. I want to hear what it sounds like. They did play a song or two from it, which sounded really good. But yeah, I've always liked their music. They're really, really good.
I like them together. They're so cohesive and fun.
Very humble.
I also apparently there's a whole 311 hate on the internet. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Yeah. I don't know why at all.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I get the Radiohead hate, but I don't get the 311 hate. And this song's been in my head for days.
Yeah.
I forgot how catchy it is. Oh, now I get a t-shirt. The other guy, here he is. So one thing I want to point out, and I don't know if anybody noticed that in the video, but I cannot remember their names, and I'm a terrible person, but the second lead singer with the black vest on, he took his earbuds out, and he was doing all of that without his earbuds. And I don't know if he was having problems with his earbuds or whatever, but he was staying in harmony. He was...
Yeah, part of me was wondering because, obviously as you get older, you're trying to protect your hearing for one.
No, they're like headphones, but they're earbuds. And
but I do wonder if he was having an easier time hearing it live rather than through
his earbuds.
Right, because you talked about how good they sounded harmonizing. I think he might have been having issues where if he kept them in, he wasn't.
I'm just wondering if they weren't working, and he was like, "The show must go on."
Yeah, well, he was rocking it, man. They all did a great job with it. But we got a few things. Obviously, you saw Neko with her wonderful sitting on Saturn there. I got myself a hoodie.
So this is the funny story about the merch. We were standing in front of a mom and her two daughters while we were getting merch. And the mom is like, "Oh, okay. Do you want a t-shirt or something?" And the one daughter's like, "Yeah, that's a real sick hoodie." And she's like, "No, you're not getting that. That's $80. So no, you can pick out a t-shirt." And then he goes up and he's like, "Yeah, give me that hoodie."
It's legit, dude. You got this little nice corner with that, but then the back.
That is sick.
That is fucking great.
Yeah. So it is a sick ass hoodie, but mommy shut down the ladies. So, but it's funny
because she was telling her daughter. I remember that she's telling her daughter, "Well, I'm here, honey. I'll get you anything she wants." She's like, "Hoodie, huh?"
She's like, "Oh, mom, that's a sick ass hoodie," and she's like, "Yeah, no. This is a sick ass t-shirt or poster."
Obviously, it's long, so but you got the 311 up there, some cool artwork.
It's very Boston-esque.
Yeah. So
it's got, you got the...
Yeah. So I'm trying to just show everyone.
Oh, do you see the lighthouse?
But yeah, this is going up. I gotta find a spot for it, but I will.
Well, we're gonna be doing some rearranging down here. Mommy's got some ideas.
Nothing on the wall is gonna change.
Possibly.
No. This is my design.
No, because if we do what I'm saying, you might get some more wall space back there.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
So I'm just throwing that out there. We're going to be doing a little bit of rearranging of our furniture in a more it'll be beneficial for everyone in this basement, including the cats, including DJ Neko. Most of our furniture down here consists of ways to display things, and
That's because I ended up just placing things where I could because that's how it just panned out.
but I think, again, I do think we can. Anyway, I have ideas, and we're going to do phase 1, and then phase 2 might be in a couple of months. So
Anyway, so my mother-in-law still keeps giving me stuff, and so I never turn it away, of course, because it's the awesomest shit on the planet.
my mom calls him her BFF. She is so. Don't take this the wrong way.
In love with me? Yes, I know.
She loves him so much, and I love him so much too, but everybody always used to joke too that he looked a lot like my dad.
Dude, didn't Jason say that?
He thought
dad?
that my dad was his dad.
Mhm.
And that says a lot about me too, because I married my father.
How old's your dad again?
66.
And how old was he in 1970?
10.
Okay, no, he's not my dad.
12 possibly.
Maybe could have, yeah.
But so I think just, he has been, I say this to him, I have no ability to give the appreciation, because if it weren't for him, I would be 100% living with my mother. I would not be able to work. Nothing would be. He is over there. He is.
I'm like Sid the Sloth. I'm the icky goo that keeps his family.
He is the icky gooey, because like I normally every day I'm over there after work, but if I didn't have him, I'd be taking like all my vacation time just to take her to doctor's appointments and stuff. And
I should say, through her story, 311 dedicated a song to a young girl that had leukemia. She was like 12 or something. It was like the sweetest moment. It was a great song.
And I think she was there.
Yeah, she was there. They pointed to her. I didn't see her, but they pointed out.
Well, she was in the VIP section. There was
such a great moment, man. That's just so good when a band takes a moment out like that to do that.
I have so much more, like, again, 1999, 311 is at their prime. They're having a great time at HF Festival, and they just went, get drunk, get high, have a good time, and vibe. Now, 311, 2025, it's more like, okay.
But again, if they sold that place out that we were at, so like if they're still selling out these venues or these little amphitheaters,
yeah, it's like a nice medium-sized place.
It could be a lot worse. I've been to clubs where bands that were once well known are not, like they're in like little bars. Like it's really that bad. And it's fun for us because we can reminisce about the good old days. But when you have a band that's still playing at the height, like they are playing, they are sounding so good.
They sounded great. They sounded perfection.
So I'm glad that they're still able to like do pretty well on tour and stuff like that. So that's really good for them. But anyway, my mother-in-law, she
Mommy
buys all
Scotty.
this stuff, so I get the combination between Bronco stuff and Godzilla stuff. So one thing she got me the other day, of course, is this bucket hat that I wore.
And he wore bucket hat to 311.
Yeah,
I love that bucket hat so much.
And then
he is Mr. Bucket Hat now. He has been.
I love bucket.
He's been leaning into the bucket hats.
So she recently got this for me. It's the American flag with Broncos on it, and
then it has his Christian name on it.
Yeah, this is going in the Bronco room.
We have 2 Bronco rooms. One is my office, and
your office, like the overflow.
The overflow.
Yeah.
So our guest bedroom is the Bronco room, and then into the hallway we have a little bit of Bronco stuff, and into my office is more Broncos, and there's my Bronco stuff and his Bronco stuff, and we're just Bronco mania. Did you show that other one behind you. I don't think you shared that yet.
Oh, I did actually. Good call. So yeah, this one was the first tumbler that she got me. It's almost like a
It's like
Coors Light can.
it's like a
Budweiser,
Budweiser can, but
it's Broncos. And
so
just very cool. And these are custom made through people on Etsy or something like that. So just fucking awesome stuff, man. Like I can't keep this downstairs because somebody will steal this from me. So I have to keep certain things away from.
But I will use it. He just wants to display it. I want to use it.
Well, I'd use it, but I'm gonna use this other one that I'll show you.
So the next one, when
well, no, I'm showing this one.
Okay,
first. So
okay.
She got me one of two Godzilla tumblers, and now I'm not a big coffee person or anything, but
it's meant for hot and cold,
right?
So it'll keep your cold. So
the first one she got me was this one here,
and somebody screen
this.
Printed that onto a tumbler.
So so we have this tumbler, which she's free to use, like no problems.
And if you look at that tumbler, it'll fit in your car like cup holder too, which is very nice.
This one I actually saw on Facebook initially.
Of course,
I didn't really think much about it, but you know, she said when I mentioned it, she's like, "Oh, I'll get that for Scott." Yeah, and so this is the fucking.
This is the tits.
Yeah, this thing is fucking goddamn sweet. Like,
and when my mom showed me that, I was like,
jelly.
I was jelly, but I was like, he will drink everything out of that now.
This now becomes my cup.
That's his special sippy cup.
My special cup.
And you are a spoiled little bitch.
I am very spoiled,
but he well deserved. He is a kind-hearted soul. Earlier today, I'm giving him like a laundry list of demands. I'm like, go to my mom's house. She needs you to go to the ATM because she needs cash because she wants to pay the guy who's going to do the sprinklers. And then she needs help with her wreath fell off her front door.
Which I took care of.
Oh, thank you. And I think it's because of the heat, so it's probably going to fall again.
I took one of my supposed anti-heat stickers for the car and put it up there.
Really?
So hopefully that's
smart man. But yeah, he's just on it. And so I know how stressful it can be just trying to take care of her and be with her and entertain her and just because I actually took off a month of work when she was a little sick just to be with her, and every day up at the crack of dawn over her house making her breakfast, doing whatever, and he jumps in and really leans into that. Now that she's feeling better, he doesn't need to he doesn't need to be there to make her breakfast and do.
But I do it anyway. I bought her lunch today. So.
Did you? He's so sweet.
But
what else you got?
So this other thing I got.
Oh my God.
I was telling Kevin from Entertainment Headquarters earlier in the week that I initially bought this through another distributor, but they were kind of dragging ass and
they never shipped it.
Well, they were emailing me that it was being delayed, and that could be partly due to what was going on overseas.
Did you cancel it?
That one I did, but then I reordered it through the actual company that made it, Hyatt, and of course that's the Shimu figure. So this is what I was waiting for. Now I have another one in November for GMK coming, which I'll be happy about.
She's right over his shoulder.
Yeah, so we'll show you this beauty once I saw that Haya was doing this, because I know that Kevin Lambert has one like this, or even bigger than this one. I can't remember, but yeah, so she is gorgeous. Love Shimu.
I love Shimu too. I love when they introduced her in a perfect way.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's also one of those kaiju that at the time that you're watching the movie, she's technically the enemy of Godzilla and Kong, but she's doing it under duress. And force.
Yes.
So because she's such a cool looking Titan, and
she is an ancient
right.
Titan.
So she's like one of the OGs. So I'm happy that they made her into actually an Earth Defender. Like she was just under duress from Scar King to try to control her with the little, what do you would call it, the ice sickle, whatever it was, the icicle power. So, obviously the fact that she's still alive, at least now,
And has her free will, and she's
Yep.
friendly,
Yep, she
and
loves Kong. Kong treats her well.
I want to pet her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she's so nice.
But the problem is she's so powerful that she could just like,
Well, probably if you touched her, maybe like just her breathing on you would freeze you. You'd be done.
I feel like she has control over that because she did like exhibit restraint.
Yeah. So the last stuff that I'm going to show.
Oh my God, you've got more shit?
Yeah. It's basically just because I got my metal box that came in.
Oh my goodness.
Metalhead box, which sends me something once a month. And usually it's like shirts, cassettes, or patches and stuff like that. So obviously the first thing I've been wearing this a lot lately is the Mortius t-shirt.
So Mortius was kind of like an early me and you thing too.
No, this is a different band. You're thinking Mortis. This is Mortius.
God.
This is a different band entirely.
Okay, so tell me about Mortius.
Just a standard death metal band, but very cool. Certainly a lot of fun. I showed this to a friend of ours who was actually involved with this guy. I showed it to Neko the day I opened it because we were very good friends with this guy. And for anyone who knows Blake from Pig Destroyer, who passed away last year, they gave us a sticker for him, which I agree with Neko. I'm not going to actually stick this to anything. I want to keep this just separate as a memorial for him.
We met Blake and
but
Lindsay.
That's something that Metalhead Box does, is they usually pay tribute to a fallen metalhead musician. Every time you get like a box, you'll get like something from, like, we've got an LG Petrov from Entombed, or the guy from Dissection and stuff like that. So it's nice, or even Peter from Typo Negative. You get nice little tributes to those guys that were once here with us and a big impact on the metal scene. And Blake was certainly very active, very cool, very humble, very sweet dude.
And very, very loved.
Yes, I miss him tremendously.
We went to his memorial.
A lot of people showed up too, which is great.
And oh God, I'm going to get a little emotional too. When we found out he was sick, I reached out to Lindsay and just kind of like, we sent a little care package. It's not like we were like, we didn't live close. We weren't like
best buddies per se,
but we cared.
Yeah, we
tried,
show,
and
we were actually eating.
But like Blake was a force, and I'm glad that we got to know him, and now we're all the way over here, so like I do still.
But we still saw Lindsay at MDF. We
Yes.
still see her and say hello because she's always usually there. So I'm glad. And as always, I've told her if she needs anything, she can always get a hold of us. We can do what we can.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'd like cross over fire for her. She's the sweetest person and so supportive, and I don't know what she's going through, but I can't imagine what she is going through dealing with all of this. So God bless you, Blake.
But the last thing I have is a cassette that I get, because I have the cassette package where I get a cassette every month.
You're gonna have to like do a whole cassette reveal because you are getting insane.
I usually take pictures and just post
it. Dude, you have so many cassettes. The latest one I got is from a band called Sepulchral Curse. And we have a little clip of them for a video for them. Oh, cool.
Never really heard them before, but I'll give you a little breakdown of it.
They're
from Finland. They're a black and death metal band.
Ooh, Finland.
Yeah. And they've been around since 2014, but they only had 3 full lengths. But the first one in 2020, then 2023, and then this one that I got on cassette is this year. So I'll have to check out the album in full, see where it falls, if it might end up in my best of or not. But if not, I might still find some tracks to put on the radio for everybody who likes to listen to Metal Tavern Radio. I have an online radio station on our website.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Go to metaltavernradio.com. As soon as you scroll down, that is where you can listen to the Metal Tavern Radio.
Yep. And you can find it on your Android or iPhone if you use the XII Alive app. Just search Metal Tavern Radio, and you can find the station there and listen to it at your heart's content. But here is a piece of the band, and let me see, what was the name of this song? It's called House of the Black Moon.
Okay. Oh, cool. Very black and brown.
All right, there you go.
So, can I tell you a funny story?
Mm-hmm.
When we were about to take our time off, my vacation at work, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to a festival." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a music festival." And they're like, "Are there any bands that I know?" I'm like, "Probably not." It's mostly death metal. And this one guy, he is adorable. He's just this cuddly guy. And he was like, "Death metal? You? Death metal? You?" And he's like, "What do you mean death metal?" I was like, "No." And I did that during our like morning meetup, and he's like, "I need you to do that every morning."
To wake everybody up.
Yeah. Because I do get that a lot, that people are like, "Oh, you look like a librarian. How do you like death metal?" And I'm like, "Oh,
It just happened.
it just happens." I don't know. I did really dig that though, and I'm really curious, like, why they haven't played MDF.
I don't know. Maybe they haven't. We just didn't notice because MDF, they have like a lot of bands, and sometimes we can't even get to all of them.
And that's the problem. And we love our festivals, but like, to your point about our 311 concert, you never get to have like this. I mean, we haven't done this in so long where it's just like, we're going to see 311. There was
well, it's more intimate when you have the smaller group of bands, because now you can play longer, and then they can do, like I said, it used to be such a big deal. Like we saw Priest with like a couple bands opening for them, and
a couple
so, like,
of times.
But Priest would play for a couple hours, and they would do different things on, Rob would be changing.
He would take out his outfit. Yeah, he got the studded like cape, and he'd come out on his motorcycle.
I mean, even when I saw Poison back in 2000 with Rat, and I forget who the other band was, but CC had done like a solo for like 15 minutes. But you don't get to see a lot of it if you have to like crunch all the bands down. Their time slots shrink. So obviously with these metal fests, like obviously the bigger bands will get a little bit longer, but some of these other bands that are under on the undercards, they're like only getting like 30 minutes at tops to play. And so they have to kind of rush through, and they can't spend a lot of time doing anything else.
My favorite thing I think about this concert was they had, I don't even want to call it a porta potty. It was like a
it's a trailer type thing.
Trailer potty.
They're fancy ones.
Yeah, you can wash your hands. There's multiple stalls.
Plus, they had people clean constantly. Like there's a lot of people dumping trash. Like it's definitely a definitely older vibe. Like unfortunately, MDF, we have like young people.
And I'd go into the porta potty and want to vomit and
but the reality
strangle
is
myself.
Like, part of that too is like, I don't know whether or not the guys from MDF have to pay for that, because to me some of the city should be handling, like just emptying trashes. Like those trashes would overflow so easily and they should have had more people kind of taking care of that throughout the day, but they didn't. Nevertheless, let me get to some of the stuff that's coming up this week before we get out of here.
Yeah, Neko's telling us we need to leave.
Tomorrow, I got a couple of things for Ghouls of Midnight, my pick, as well as Mr. Tony's. My pick is 1980's Beyond Evil, which we'll review. And then he's got a movie from this year called Marshmallow. Marshmallow. So we'll be reviewing that with him. And then later in the week, I might fill in some stuff. I got some appointments I got to make up and do. But Saturday, I'm getting together with Jedi Granville for his review of Life Force from 1986, I think it was. And then later in the evening, Olvin and I are actually going to sit down with Bobby Knipp Jr., director of Grandma, as well as the upcoming film he has. Welcome home. But we're going to sit and talk to him and have a little interview with him and talk a little bit about horror and his experience as a director, as well as like his love for metal and stuff like that. So be looking for that on the immediate future on the channel. As for everything else, please like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought. Are you fans of rock like 311?
Do you love 311 like we
Or are you
do?
more just a sepulchral curse that we played later? But let us
It's okay to
know.
like both.
Yeah,
Really
it's okay. It is okay. But we'll see you next time on the Metal Talk Radio podcast, and take care of yourselves.
Juices.
Just for you.